She has been a consistent progressive voice in Congress. She's dedicated to social and economic justice, to international peace, and civil and human rights. She knows that as a social worker by profession, being an advocate for people and dealing with the federal bureaucracy has been one of her top priorities, and we see that today. Thank you for that. And she has aggressively represented the needs of the underserved and the vulnerable people in our country. She has served as the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, co-chair of the Progressive Caucus, and co-founder of the Congressional Out of Poverty Caucus.
Yes.
Yes, Congresswoman Lee is a senior Democratic whip and notes her top issues of safe communities, affordable housing, and the homeless. She was also the only member of Congress, and we're very proud of this actually, to vote against the U.S.'s entrance into the Iraq War. Sometimes as social workers, we are the lone voice, and it takes great courage to do that. And she actually began her congressional career as an intern in the office of Congressman Ron Dellums, who is also a social worker. So please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Lee, and I believe you were going to say a few words to her.
Okay. Yeah,
Well, we'd like to see you.
Thank you very much, and let me just say that, sometimes when you believe in something, you worry about it as to whether it's going to continue and all of that. But this is something that I'm not worried about, because I know that Barbara Lee is going to do what needs to be done. And the only other thing that I would like to say that Barbara also chaired the Congressional Black Caucus. And of course, if you can do that, I mean, I'm a living witness. If you can do that, you can pull all kinds of coalitions together, no doubt about it. And she was able to do a very effective and successful job. She just has the skills and knows how to form coalitions. And let me tell you, there's nobody that will work harder than Barbara Lee. So I would say to you, without any reservations, that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what this organization is going to do under the leadership of Barbara Lee. So I want to pass it over to her and to say to you that I'm not worried about what the future holds for this organization as long as Barbara has the wheel. Thank you. You got
it. First, let me apologize for my voice. I am hoarse, just recovering from whatever is going around. But I just have to thank you first, Reverend Congressman, retired, my friend and colleague Ed Towns, and my social worker friend. First, you look great. It is so good to see you.
Thank you.
And it's just wonderful to know that Congressman Towns is going to continue as our emeritus. Of course, I'm saying social work caucus chair emeritus. Ed Towns. Now, I don't know what everybody else says, but that's it for me. But, now you can do more work on the outside without the constraints of all this stuff, and really appreciate your tremendous leadership and for trusting me with your caucus, because you founded the social work caucus, and Ed has really been a true leader on so many issues. So it's really good to see you, and believe you me, I'm going to try to walk in your shoes and run in your shoes. Let me also thank all of you for being here today, but also for the work that you do each and every day as social workers. And the code of ethics, the social work code of ethics, is a code of ethics that I think elected officials should follow myself. Yeah, that's my sort of guidepost in terms of my legislative agenda. I think now, what we see now is sequester and what's happening with vulnerable populations, nearly 50 million people living in poverty, 16 million are children. It's the shame and disgrace in a country as rich and powerful as ours. And so as social workers and as this caucus, our time has come to really step up and say, this is unacceptable, and we know how to eliminate and reduce poverty, and we know what to do to make sure a safety net is preserved until we create the jobs that everyone so deserves. I don't know any group of professionals who are better equipped and who have the heart and the head to be able, to do this. And so I hope that we can work together with this caucus and ensure that all of the bills that we introduce, our Social Workforce Reinvestment Act, high priority from myself, and I know you're gonna lobby hard to get that bill passed. We're gonna keep on it until it's done. Also, and so many other issues that people are faced with today that require not only an offensive strategy, but a defensive strategy. Right now we're just trying to defend SNAP, for example, food stamps. We're trying to defend Medicare and Medicaid. We're trying to defend earned income tax credit. We're trying to defend all of those safety net programs that you know so well. And we should be increasing them because so many people who need these services and who are eligible don't even receive them. And so we have a lot of work to do. And we need to go on the offense and make sure that progressive policies, progressive tax reform and all of the issues that you care about that's going to not only sustain people through difficult times, but policies that will create the quality of life that people deserve in this country. That's an offensive strategy, so we have to work toward that also. So this Social Work Caucus, I'm really proud to be able to chair it because we have 7 social workers now here in the House? And so we're going in the right direction. I also chair the newly formed Democratic Poverty and Opportunity Task Force and the Out of Poverty Caucus. So all of the agendas of all these caucuses that I chair come together with our Social Work Caucus, which makes us even stronger as a Social Work Caucus because the coalitions that Ed talked about are massive. I mean, we can bring the Tri-Caucus, we can bring so many other organizations who are non-social work organizations to our social work agenda. And so just thank you all so much for being here. I apologize for being late. I'm on the budget committee, and so we had an emergency budget. This Ryan budget. It's a budget that social workers should really scream about and push back on. It's a terrible budget. It decimates everything that we care about. And so, we're in the middle of that right now. So that's why I was late. But thank you again so much for being here.